All right. Welcome to anyone watching live, and to those of you that are watching on YouTube, I appreciate that. So tonight we are going to be playing session 2 of Under Ashen Skies, a horror RPG. I last playing it last week. This is a solo RPG by Alex T from Black Oath Entertainment, and I'm going to be streaming every Wednesday is the plan. I might have to take a week or two off on occasion, but actually, let me get my camera a little bit better here. 1 second. Move that up. Yeah, it's a little better. Okay. So I'll be doing this. The plan is every Wednesday, and we're going to alternate between Under Ashen Skies, Carnathalis, and also 2d6 Dungeon. So, hey, Quake Gungeon, thanks for stopping by, man. And yeah, we'll be playing a few different solo RPGs. So I'll do a quick recap of last session and explain a couple mistakes I made since I'm still learning this RPG, and then we'll dive into day 2. So in the first session, to cut to the chase, if you have not watched it, you might want to pause here real quick and go back and watch the first one. But the first session, get ready for the spoiler. All right, if you've come back, great. If not, hope you did watch it. But in the first session, I died. So the last room I went into, there was an old woman holding an empty shotgun, and she was dead. Bullet holes all throughout the apartment, and thousands of bugs crawling over her. And apparently I only thought she was dead because as I got closer, the bugs triggered the shotgun and shot me in the chest and killed me. So that's how Under Ashen Skies, that's how deadly it can be. First session, and I died immediately. So before I get into the rest of the mistakes and kind of where we want to go from here, I did want to say, for anybody that's watching, I should have done this last time, but quick trigger warning. Honestly, this is a horror RPG, so I don't know all the things that are going to happen because I did not read as much of the PDF as I could have, because I really didn't want to spoil anything. So I know there's going to be death, there's going to be disturbing memories, dark secrets, a lot of different things. So if there are any triggers, I apologize in advance if I haven't warned you enough, but definitely this RPG is not for the faint of heart. We'll be exploring some dark secrets depending on how far we get in the game. All right, with that being said, a couple mistakes from last time. One of the most important is you start with 5 fate, and with fate, you can re-roll any roll. So when I died, I had actually failed a roll against a trap, and I could have re-rolled it, but I thought it was a pretty epic death, so that's okay. I don't mind that we had to start over. And the way it works in Under Ashen Skies, when you die, you respawn. It's a bit like a video game. Now, if you roll wrong after you've died, there is a possibility you're just dead outright and your character is gone and you have to start over. Fortunately, I didn't do that. So what I'm going to have to do in the beginning of this session is I'm going to have to go find my equipment, which fortunately is just in a room right across the hallway. So it shouldn't be that hard to do. And see, what else did I make a mistake on? I didn't record all of my time, so there are some investigation trackers and things. I've updated that and made sure that's right. And you also have a nemesis that follows you around. And because I died, I had to move forward on that nemesis track. And once that fills up completely, then I have to fight my nemesis, which I don't know how you beat them. They have the same stats you do. They gain initiative. I don't know how you do that. So I think those were the main issues. The only other thing I had mentioned in my comments is that I had found in a room I was supposed to roll on a manual table. I checked with Alex T, and he informed me that was an error in the PDF. He's correcting it, and I was just supposed to roll on a crafting table. So what I got was some painkillers. So that's kind of good. I'm going to try to do my camera one more time, then we'll get started. See if that's okay. There we go. That seems to be a little bit better. All right. Enough of the camera movement. I think that's good enough. All right, so let's get started. And the tools I'm using the Augur VTT, which is a great solo RPG virtual tabletop. And I have links all over to that. In the bottom left of my screen down here, I have a little game info summary. I'm using something called Questbound for that. And I'm going to be using that a lot more in Caernathalis. It's got the ability to create character sheets and it's really cool. But for today, I thought I'd just use it to track a few things that I wanted to have on the screen and remind myself of. So that's why I have that. And what else am I using? 3D dice. So 3D dice, you'll see them roll across the screen, but I'll do all my rolls live and you'll see those as I get into this. And little background music. I'm using Risonic Pro, which is just a player, but the background should be from Monument Studios. So all right, enough of the preamble. I'll drop a link in the video to show what time we actually started, but let's get going. So I am going to open the PDF and show you. So as a reminder, so died, and again, you simply wake up in the back at your apartment. And the only real consequences are it resets the time track, which I've already done before we started. So I've got that done. I didn't have any critical injuries or things that happened. I had a minor injury, but it wasn't critical. So that went away, which is nice. But I do have to go back and get my belongings. I left them on my character sheet because fortunately I just have to go across the hallway to find them. But I did want to use this as an opportunity because we're starting over. I do believe I need to go to not the investigation track, but the tracking time. And if you watch the first video, every day is presided over by what's called a protogenii. And those protogenos, the protogenos, they have different types of aspects. So depending on the day and how you roll, you could get a benefit for the time that for that day, and a day ends up being 10 full cycles of this time tracker. So let's go to the next page, and we do reset and start on a Monday as I understand it. So Monday is presided over by the Morai. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. And what it reads here is the Morai control the thread of fate of every mortal life from birth to death. They watch that all fate laws affecting an individual remain in place so that fate can take its course without obstruction. So I'm going to roll a D10 and we'll share those results with you and we'll see what our impact is. And I think it's only for this day. So I rolled an 8. So that's great. So that means I get a +1 fate point. So if we go to my character sheet, I've got a 5 on fate right now. So I'll make a note because I don't know if I have to get rid of that or if that's permanent, but for now I might ask Alex, but I'm going to say +1 fate Monday. So just to remind myself. So that's great. Kind of ironic that I could have used a fate last time and I didn't. So, all right. So for now, I'm going to come out of my apartment and go back into the room where again, the little old lady is sitting there with an empty shotgun. I think the bugs have now dispersed. So they're on the ground, maybe kind of crawling around on my feet, but the shotgun is definitely gone now and it's fallen on the floor. So fortunately, we don't have to worry about the shotgun anymore. So I'll gather up my equipment and then let's go back. I created a flow chart that I thought might be helpful to show everyone. And so this, I might get into a little bit more of actual combat with this and do this and do another flow chart. But for now, we'll look at exploration. So I came into the room. I do have a light source because I have a flashlight. So if you don't have a flashlight and the answer is no, or any kind of light source, then you gain a trauma, which will be over time, that will be cumulative. So no effect. We've got a light source. Are we cautious? So what that means, let's go back to our little map here. I'm not going to investigate this room because I'm going to say I'm a little freaked out and don't want to investigate, but I am going to go into these back rooms. So it keeps flipping on me. So I'm going to go up here into this corner room. And before I do want to be cautious because I have a pretty good stealth score. If you look over here, there's a sneaking score where my cursor is. So that gives me a +10. And as a reminder, I roll a d20 for anything that I'm trying to do, and your target is always at 20. So I need a 10 or higher to typically pass a test. In this case, this will be against an enemy if I, in fact, encounter an enemy in the next room. So let's roll a d20, and then I'll explain what happens from here. So a 3. Not a great roll, right? So I got a 3, but I get to add a 10, so that's a 13. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to toggle this on so we don't forget. And so down here in the section right over here where I have game info, I just updated stealth to 13. So we both can look at that, or all of us can look at that and know what my score is. So we've done that. So now let's go back here and see if I did this right. I am cautious. So I do want to be cautious, but that costs me +1 on the time track. So let's go ahead and handle that. And I'm going to go back to my time tracker, which is in the PDF. So it's on the character sheet here. So we'll move this over here to one little wedge or tick on the time track. So great, done that. Now let's go back to see what it says. Are you in the devouring? No, because the devouring happens after 2 complete cycles. On the 3rd cycle, you actually enter what is called the devouring. It's like the upside down world, Stranger Things, just dogs and cats going crazy, all that kind of crazy stuff, but we're not there yet. So now we're going to roll on the normal room features table for the site. So let's go back. And one thing I did that I'll show you is there are specific room features for every site. And I talked to Alex about this. This isn't necessarily part of the original game rules as written, but what I'm going to do is I put these little check boxes next to each feature of the room because I want to experience each one. So if I roll something that I've already encountered, I'm just going to re-roll it. And once I've filled this out completely, if I'm still investigating the site, then I'll go ahead and probably start over. But for now, I don't want to have duplicates. So let's get into this and let's roll on our room features table. All right, 58. So let's see if I have that. 58. See if I've already encountered that. I have not. So here's what it says. You would have not have expected an apartment stairwell to be decorated with a beautiful stained glass window, but here it is. Probably this will not be the most surprising thing you see today. All right, so relatively innocuous, right? So what I've been doing, oh, you know what? I need to go back. So I want to check that, but I'm going to go back to the PDF because I do want to, I know there's a fair bit of bookkeeping here, but I'm going to go to the room features and go to that 58 and select it because I do want to copy that text. And I'm going to show you how I've been tracking this. So this is room, I don't need to move this. This is room 6. But I'm going to create a new room here by creating a new location, map from image, and it doesn't really matter what the underlying image is. I think I'm just going to select this 0 because it doesn't really matter. Create the map. I'm going to call this room number 7. I guess I've been spelling it out, so let's be consistent. Room number 7. Okay. And then I'm going to make this a 7. There you go. It looks a little bit like a 1, but it's a 7. So then under the extended description, I'm going to say room features. And this helps me when I come back. If I do another session, it'll help me. And I won't take a ton of time here, but I'll just clean it up just a bit. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is get this ready for room contents. So that we'll find out what we fight, but at least we'll start here and we'll be good to go. So I'm going to move my guy over here. We're at the door to this room, and now let's go back and see, based on the flow chart, what do we do? So now we're going to roll on the normal room contents table because we're not in the devouring. So let's go back to the PDF and the room contents table, and then I'll get rid of this, make it a little bit easier to read. This one, it's not necessarily unique, meaning if you do discoveries, there are only so many discoveries. So what we're going to do is roll up on the top here for the room contents and see what we get. Actually, I don't want to do that one. Clear that. I want to do a straight up D10. I rolled a 2. Wow. I have not, I mean, it's probably good, but I've not been rolling encounters. Probably good because I died first, right? I died the first session, so it's probably good. So let's go to the discovery. So now we're going to roll a D100. And we rolled a 3, which is a roll on the scavenging table. So let's go back to the bookmark here. And we're going to go down to the crafting and supplies. I think it's here, if I remember right. Yeah, here we go. So we're going to roll on. So normally if you're searching a room, if you didn't have something like this room contents where it said that you can roll on the scavenging table, then normally you would have to pass a scavenging check. But fortunately, I don't need to because I do not have the best scavenging. So we're going to do 2d6s. So let's do 1d6, 2d6s, and roll. We got a 7. So a 7 on the scavenging table is 1 scavenged items roll on the scavenged items table, which is this d20 table. So let's do that. And I rolled a 20. Wow, roll 2 times on this table, ignoring further 20s. Let's do that again, and I'm going to roll 2 of these this time. And I got a 4 and a 7. So a 4 is 1 times upkeep, and a 7 is a basic ingredient. So let's start with the 1 times upkeep. I'm going to go back here, and I think I made a note of that somewhere. Yeah, up here, upkeep. What that does is certain weapons require upkeep. So it's kind of an abstract concept, but if I get a certain weapon, then I need to use upkeep, I think, to keep it, I don't know if it's clean or ammunition, something like that. So that's what that is. So now let's go back, and a 7 is 1 times basic ingredient, and roll a d8. So let's roll a d8, and then I think I know where that is. So I got a 5, and these are advanced crafting ingredients. And here are the basic ingredients. So I rolled a 5, which is metal and thin plastic. So it looks like this will allow me to add +1 to a piece of armor. And over time, you actually unlock, again, a little bit like a video game, you unlock a soul forge, which is a way to craft items in your apartment. But I'm a ways away from that. I'm going to copy that metal and thin plastic so I don't forget it. And for now, I guess I'll put it, I don't know if I should put it in my pocket. I'll put it down here and say metal and thin plastic. And we'll say that's a 1. All right, so we've done that. We moved on the time track because we were cautious. Technically, I think I could search that again, but because I scavenged this room, I'm just going to say, no, I'm going to move on. So I'm going to go down to this corner room. Now, again, I rolled a 3 for a stealth, so that was a 13. However, I'm going to go back to this just to remind everyone. So we're on this exploration. We do have our flashlight on, so we're okay. But if we're being cautious, it's going to move us forward again on the time track. And I need to roll. It doesn't say that here, but when you're being cautious, you need to do a stealth roll. So we're going to do that again. We'll move ourselves forward on the time track so I don't forget. So we're going to move 1 more on this. Then we're going to roll our stealth roll, which is a d20, and our sneaking is 10. So a 12. So that's great. So we get a 22. So let's go back to our little tracker here from Questbound, and I'm going to make that a 22. It'll take just a second to update, and then you should see it. And that is a 22 stealth. So now if I do encounter a monster, I'll know what that is. So we're going to go right into this room, new location, and we're going to create our map. And for now, I'm just going to keep using, I think, this 0 because it doesn't really matter what the room, this part of the image is. So I'm going to say room number 8. And then we'll change the icon for all these tokens that I bought from Roll20. Don't tell anybody at Fantasy Grounds I did that. Just teasing. All right, so we're in there. So now let's go back. We're being cautious. We moved up on the time track. Now we roll on the normal room features table for the site. So let's go back to our actually, you know what? I'm going to go here because I think it's going to be easier to copy and paste, and then I can tick it off. Well, never mind. I do want to see if I've rolled it. So let's roll our D100. 87. So this game is mainly about discovery. There's a fair bit of action, but it's supposed to be like disturbing, atmospheric. So it's really all about what you're discovering and what you discover about yourself, some of which will be not so good. All right, so I'm going to read this. So tenant mailboxes, each labeled with 1 or 2 names. This might help you remember who you are or give you a clue to figure out how this happened. You scramble over to the many closed mailboxes, searching for the one that matches the room you awoke in. You read the name, but that's not right. That can't be your name. Is it your captured name? Captor's name? Were you captured? You're unsure and just as confused as before. So I guess, I woke up in the room and it had a name on it. And what's the name? It must have been like Joseph or Hosea, who knows what it is, but it certainly wasn't my name. So I'm still super confused. So let's go back. I was hoping that would give me a clue. I'm really anxious. This is kind of like a memento. I'm trying to recover my memories here. So let's go back to where is my wounds healing, my room features, and let's go to 87. Fortunately, there's a lot of these, so it does give you a lot of variety. So I'm going to go back to my room 8, and I'm going to put in room features. And by the way, if anybody does get this game, Alex with Black Oath Entertainment, he is super active on his forum. His Discord. I'm on it all the time, asking him questions. And that guy must not sleep because he is always answering questions. And he's awesome. He really loves to interact with people. And I can't wait to show you all Carnithalis as well. I've been having a blast with that. But tonight, we're here for Under Ashen Skies. All right. So we've done that. We were quiet, or cautious, I should say. So now we need to go back. I won't go back to that image flowchart every time because we kind of know what we're doing now. So now we're going to go to room contents. So we're rolling a D10 and we're going to see what happens here. If I can find my D10. There we go. 5. So I still have not gotten an encounter. One of these times we're going to roll an encounter and it's going to be crazy because these monsters can be super hard. So we got an event though. So we're going to be looking for an event, and I think events are right. Here we go. I need to roll a D66. These, I don't think I'll track these separately either because I think it's okay if I get duplicates here. So we'll roll 2 D6s. So I'm going to look as they come across on the screen, and it looks like that's a 5 and a 4. So I'm just going to left to right. That's how I'm going to always do this. Just read them from left to right as the roll. So a 5 and a 4, which is a 54. So what it says is a familiar voice calls to you and you feel reassured and safe, but something tells you this won't last. Move your emotional matrix D3 to the right, but gain an equal amount to the Nemesis track progress. Emotional matrix is something that I'm not playing with right now because it does say in the rule set, as you're getting used to the game, it's probably a little bit too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and on my matrix. So I need to, let's just roll a D6 to get to a D3. So let's roll a D6 and I got a 1. So 1 or a 2 would be a 1. So I get 1 on the emotional matrix, but I would get 1 on the Nemesis track. So I need to go back to this formed fillable. And down below here is where I'm at on the Nemesis track. Once this fills up, I think it has to fill up completely, then I'll face my Nemesis. So I think for now, I'm going to say for that emotional matrix, I'm going to make a little note, see if I don't forget. I'm just going to give myself +1 on next check. You know, a little benefit, but nothing huge. And this is the emotional state down here. Like it would let me move. And that does give you a better, more lasting effect. But for now, I'm just going to say +1 on my next roll. So I'm going to go in here and just say room contents. We are going to do, now I need to, there we go. I want to go into here and we're going to do this, copy this, and we're going to paste it in here. And we're good. Just something to just kind of remember what was in each room. So that's that. So for now, I might come back and explore these smaller little subrooms. Oh, you know what I'll do? Because I didn't really find anything in here, I think I will roll on a scavenging table. So if you come back to this on the scavenging table, and I haven't done this, I should have done this. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think I didn't put on here that you can scavenge. I'll probably update this. So we're going to do a few things. I know by scavenging, it moves 1 forward on the time track. So let's go back to my character sheet and we're going to move one down. I already said this last session, but again, where it says change battery and light torch, you only need to do that once per complete cycle. So we'll do it at the very end so I don't forget. So at the very end of a cycle. So we don't need to worry about that. All right. So we move that forward. And one other thing that I should do, though, just keep forgetting a few of these things, but it's all right. So we cleared out rooms 7 and 8, so 2 more rooms. Whenever you clear out a room, then I'm supposed to go to my, where is it? This one. And I get 2 on these for each room. I get 2 on the track, so that's 2 rooms. Something else is telling me, and I might do this. I don't know if I'll take a break, but I feel like something happens after every like 3 or 4 or 5 rooms, but I don't want to stop the stream to remember what that is. So we'll check on that. I know there's something that I'm missing, but it's okay. We'll just keep playing. All right, so we are going to roll on a scavenge check. So I've got a scavenge of +8. So let's go down to our D20. Let's roll. I got an 18. So 18 plus 8 is a 26. And you're always rolling against a 20. So I succeeded on my scavenge check. So let's go back and find our scavenge crafting. All right, so here's the scavenging table. So we'll roll our 2d6. Getting a fair bit quicker than last time for anybody who watched last time. So I hope you enjoy this. Oh, 3, 1 times melee weapon. Roll a d86. Last time I got an old phone. So this should be fun. Let's get down to, instruments of harm. Here you go. So I'm going to roll my d86 and let's see what we get. Find our 8. There's our 8 and our 6. And let's roll. So that is, let's make sure I'm reading the 4. Well, they're both 44. So let's go down here. And that's a picture. Are you kidding me? So I found a picture. So the damage effect doesn't do anything. It's medium and it's fragile. All right. Hey, it's something, I guess. So let's go back to our character sheet. And I guess we call that a weapon. We're going to call it a picture. And we're going to say no effects, medium, and I think it said breakable. Okay. So that's pretty ironic. All right. So I think that's, so let's see. I was cautious. I went ahead and scavenged. So I think I'm good there. And I feel like there's something else. I'm going to take a quick peek, but I won't wait. I won't search too long. What I want to do, let's see. Is it investigation track? All right, we did that. Tasks, +2 for each room. Room features, site exploration. Yeah, there's something I'm missing, but I know something happens after a certain number of rooms, but oh well. Moving onwards and upwards. So we're going to come out of here and we're going to, let's see, how do I get to these other, oh, there we go. I'm just going to keep moving down. And you know what? We're going to explore to the everything to my, I guess, the right as I'm walking down, but the left as I'm looking at my screen. So we're going to come down here. We've got to roll a new stealth encounter. So let's roll our D20, and I'm going to have to move forward on the time track. 18 plus 10 is a 28. So let's move that up to a 28. And we've got that. We will go back to our character sheet. We're going to move forward on the time track 1. So I did that. So good there. And now we will kind of open the door and see what we find. So we're going to mark this as a new location. And we're going to use our own files. So we'll do that. I know I'm going quickly, but you guys have seen this a fair bit now. We'll say number 9 is the room. Then we'll put in our number 9 token. If I can find it, there we go. And then we will get ready to write in the description. But did I do the last one? Let me make sure I did that. Number 9, number 8. Tenant mailboxes. Let me just make sure I've done that. Yeah, I did that. Okay, perfect. So now we're going to roll again. We were cautious, so if we run into anything, we will have the advantage. So let's do this and let's roll. 19. And that is, I've not done this. So generous holes were punched in the walls between this and the next 3 or 4 consecutive apartments. Only this door is not barricaded with supplies gathered in the furthest room. Is this a sign of spontaneous cooperation or a neighborly assault? Interesting. Let's tick that one off so we know we're done with that one, or we've seen that one. So let's go up to the apartment block. Make sure we're on the right thing here. So that's interesting. So like, are these folks, are they fighting together? Like, what are they doing? I'm hoping I start finding out a little more soon. I feel like I've gotten like teased with maybe some information, but still haven't really found anything. And I have not gotten any neme, which is basically your experience, because I haven't fought anything yet. So, all right, we're going to go down and we're going to say room contents. And we'll leave that. So we're good. So now we go back and we are going to roll on our room contents. Those are room features. Now we're going to roll on the contents. All right, D10. A 3. Oh my goodness, discovery. All right, let's roll our D100. Hope I find something that's going to give me some clues here. A 64. So 64. Last words. Figure lies in a corner of the room in a pool of its own blood. When you approach it, you see that it's a man, and it seems that he's still alive. He motions you to come closer, and when you do, he whispers in your ear. He collapses right after, dead. His last words spark some old memories within you. You earn 50 neme. That is awesome, because once you get to 100, you actually get to level up and you get some real memories. So I don't think I actually get memories, because you do roll on a memory table once you level up. But I think in this case, it's basically saying you get neme which essentially is, I guess, like old memories. I'm going to read that again. Wow. So this old guy is just in a pool of his own blood, and he triggered something. So I'm starting to remember a little bit, which is good because I really want to find out what's happening. So I'm going to go up to my Neme and mark 50, and maybe next time I will add that to the game info, like my current Neme. Neme track. I'm just going to make a note so that I do that next time. Hey, let's do a little bit of a, hold on 1 second. 1 second. Give me just a second if I can. Sorry guys, give me 1 second and all right, sorry about that. I do not have a moderator that's watching, so I had to bring in the band hammer a bit. So apologize for that quick digression there. All right. So that broke the flow a bit, but that's okay. We're going to go back in. So we've got more Neme. We got 50. We're halfway to our next, basically our next level, so to speak, which is awesome. So can I get out of this now? I don't want to see this anymore, but I'm just going to clear chat for a second and then I'll see it. Okay, there we go. Excellent. All right. Click out of that. We're going to click back into this. And the question is, should I scavenge? I can still do that, but you know what? I want to keep exploring and figuring out what's going on. So I'm going to wait just a bit. I can always scavenge. And it's a good reminder that I scavenged and I had forgotten. So I'm going to grab my, I think it's in icons. And I'm going to grab this little icon that shows when I've actually searched a room. So like room 8, I believe I searched. So I'm going to make that. There are some rooms I didn't search. So I'm going to leave this for now so I know I haven't searched in the room, because you can always search once. So let's go to the back room here. And again, I want to be cautious. So let's go back to our tracker. And I'm going to move one more on the time track. And I'm going to go back in and we're going to roll on our D20. 17 plus 10 for sneaking is 27. So let's mark 27 so we know actually only down 1. That's great. So there we go. Should pop up in a second. 27. All right. So now we are going to go in this back room and let's add a location. Add a location here. Create the map. We're going to say this is room number 10 and give it a 10 icon, and we will roll for our description. So let's see what we find. We'll go into our room contents, room features, excuse me, room features. So we're still in our apartment building, and let's go back here so I know if I've already encountered that particular feature. So let's see what we find. 22. So that one I feel like I found. Nope, no, I haven't. So whether this is a hoarder's apartment or a fortified hideaway does not change the smell. A choking air of moldy animal food and wet cardboard fills the cramped crawl spaces between mountains of magazines, cases of canned food, and one enormous cage. The hell was in this cage? Is it like a wolf? I mean, is it that enormous? Is it like just a big dog? You know, maybe like a Newfoundland or something? Like what is it? So, all right, we're going to come down here. We'll copy it. We'll put the description in here like we normally do. Room features. Paste that in. And I could use Notepad++ and get rid of these things a little bit easier, but trying to do it as quickly as I can while we're streaming and not worry about it too much. Then we will go down here, room contents, and yep. And we'll do this. All right. So we know, so there's something weird. There's some hoarder's back room with all these magazines, canned food, and I don't know, maybe it was a mountain lion, who the hell knows. But we are now going to roll our D10 because we now need to roll on our contents table. So let's see what we get on our room contents. And where's my D10? Here's my D10. A 5, an event. Wow. I'm shocked, but I won't say it because I'll jinx myself. So let's roll a D66. So we're going to grab 2 D6s, and again, we'll roll, look at them left to right. So it's a 12. It's a 1 and a 2, so it's a 12. As you enter the room, a loud wailing alarm startles you. This is going to spell trouble for you. +5 to the next 5 rolls on the room contents table. So I need to, oh my God, +5 to the next 5 rolls. So let's do this, see if I can do this quickly. And if not, then I'll do this later, but I kind of want to, let's do a text. And if I can find it. I'm trying to see if I can unlock. Can I do where is the text? I'm not seeing it. Yeah, it's user error, I know, but can't see where that is. Oh, well, we're not going to worry about that for now. What I'm going to do is mark it on my erase board, and we'll say +5 next 5 rolls. Room content. So that's a little scary because that is going to make me run into an encounter, I think. All right, so let's copy this. And where is it? Now I lost myself here as you enter it. Where is it? +5 to the next 5 rooms. Why am I not seeing it? Oh, I know what it is. It is, if I go back to my room, it faded away. Oh, there it is. Jeez. So we'll do this. We'll copy that. And we will pop that in here. And all right. So I think I will be cautious, or not cautious, sorry, scavenge. So it will take me time. So I'm going to move myself up 1 more on the tracker, and I'm almost through 1. You got to go through 10 cycles for a full day. So I guess I could have re-rolled that, but let's not worry about that. I keep forgetting 6 fate points. This would be great. Yeah, I think you're right, Eraser. I might ultimately put this into Fantasy Grounds, but for now, I just haven't done it. So, but you're right. I think it would go well in here. So, all right, I was going to roll on the scavenge. So let's try to scavenge. We're going to roll a d20, and our scavenge is an 8. That's an 18. So we did not find anything because we need to get a 20, but we moved ourselves forward, and we did scavenge. We just weren't successful. So let's find our icon. Users library, icons. We'll pull that down so we know that we've scavenged that room, even though we found nothing. So now we need to move down here, and we're going to go into this room. I am definitely going to be cautious because chances are I'm going to find something like in the room contents. That means that I'm most likely going to face a battle. So we're going to move this up. So we're at the end of a cycle. So I'll move that forward next time. And then I will, as soon as I click it over, I will have to click off one of my batteries. And I think I'll be down to 1. I don't know how I'm going to get additional batteries at this point. So I did that. And we are going to roll our stealth. Please at least give me a good stealth roll. please. All right, not bad. 14 plus 10 is 24. So let's go back to our little sheet here and we will move that down to 24. It lets me. There we go. Absolutely. So I'll remember that. So now we're going to go to the room contents. I do feel like I'm missing something. Let me see. I did 7, 8, 9. This is room number 4. I feel like something happens every 3 rooms, but I'm going to have to drop that in the comments after the session once I recall. But I'm sure it won't break the game. All right, so what am I doing? I am rolling on the room contents. So let's go back to our bookmarks, go to the room features, and we're going to roll there first, and we'll go back to here, D100, 61. Let's see if we've found this yet. 61. Nope. So a doorway whose door has been violently removed, likely by the vehicle sitting dormant in its now empty frame. The passage leads to a parking garage. The death throes of an abandoned car left running echo from another level of the concrete structure. So now this is where I know every once in a while you're going to find something that just doesn't make sense. I'm going to tweak that a bit. So that's number 61, because it's really, at least that part seems like it's more flavor. So let me copy this. Let's go back to our room, and we're going into room 11. So we'll add that room. We'll add a map. Not what I wanted to do. Let's go back. What I wanted to do is go back here. Blank map. Okay, that works. And that'll be number 11, blank map. And we will do a room features. And we'll drop that in. And what should we say? I think we're going to say that for now, because I'm on the second floor, I'm going to say likely by the powered scooter. So there's like a scooter that was on that's now in the empty door frame. So like you have this, for some reason, somebody had a scooter that was running that's in the doorway. That's all I can think of right now. I'm not too creative, but so now what we're going to do is we're going to roll on the room contents. And we get a +5 to our roll here. So let's roll a D10. I guess some loud alarm bells are going off or something. I rolled an 8. Okay. So absolutely, this is going to be an encounter. So we haven't run an encounter yet, so this is going to take me a minute. So let's go to our bookmarks, and we're going to go to encounter, and I know there's a table that I'm trying to find. You know what we're going to do? That's the difficulty of the encounter, but it could be features, the devouring. Here's what I'm going to do. I have it in my summary, I believe. Combat. Let's go to exploration, maybe. All right. So now I forget exactly where it is in the book, but 1 to 7 is a Phonos, 8 to 10 is an NPC. So we're going to roll a D10. A 3. So it is a Phonos, and a Phonos are basically crazy monsters. So what we're going to do now is we're going to roll. It's a little hard to see here probably, but we're going to roll on the Phonoi encounter table. We're going to roll a D10. And I get a 3, which is an inside out man. So we're going to do this. We're going to get this kind of set up. And I've got them all over here, the Phonoi. So what I'm going to do, and we'll get back to this. And well, actually, you know what? I'm going to roll on. Do I want to do this? Yeah, let's roll on this next. And that is the encounter difficulty. So let's roll a d10. That's a 4. So advanced, I add +1 to the wound and +1 to the attack. +1 wound, +1 attack. All right, and now let me go back and let's add the Inside Out Man. We're going to add him in here. So we're going to move this number down here just a bit. And this guy was in the room as I busted in looking around. And we're going to find him over here so that we can hopefully find him. There he is. All right, so I've got, it's going to be a little hard to read, but I've got the information and the description. So this is all AI generated. The game itself has descriptions, and I'll read the description, but I made I wanted to have something to signify the phonos in terms of an actual image. So let's go to the Phonoi. So I've done the encounter difficulty. So we just did that. So he's going to get +1. So his wounds say 10 and his awareness. So his wounds, instead of 10, I'm going to mark this. And I think I can do it on his token. I just want to see if I can. There we go. So if I click on his token, so his wounds, we're going to go up by, I don't know if I can, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start at a, oh, well, I guess I can't just add this on the fly. I was hoping I could, but let's not worry about that. So I know that's going to be up 1. And then his attack, if I can see that, his defense. Yeah, we'll have to get into what his attack is. All right, so I want to look back at the Phonoi himself under foes, see what other information we've got here on the Inside Out Man. Where is he? Come on, there he is. All right. So while the name implies there's a singular, in actuality, dozens of these things roam Riverside, which is the town that we're in. A humanoid man with long, shaggy hair, the creature staggers around naked, as its rib cage has been split open and butterflied into strange bone wings. Its visible organs pulse and throb, humming with a malignant energy. It lunges and staggers in its movements, its mouth threaded shut with sinew and leather, and its eyes covered by a tight belt, inset and outset with sharp metal spikes. Awesome. So, okay, so there are tables to see what he does. So let's go back, since this is the first time I'm doing this. Since I entered cautiously, I'm going to go back here. Oh, and we will look at his awareness. His awareness was an 8. So I rolled a 24. So I definitely win the battle when it comes to initiative. So that's great. So do I have a light source? Yes. So there's no impact. I don't have to worry about trauma. So I enter cautiously? Yes. So I gain initiative and I automatically hit with my first attack, which is with a crowbar. But you roll a d10 for his encounter reaction. So let's do that. I want to roll a d10 first. And I rolled a 5. So let's look at what that reaction shows. Encounter reaction. I know it's, let me go back here. Encounter reaction. There is, yeah, I remember this and I'm going to have to find it, because when you encounter something, it doesn't always automatically attack you. So let's go explaining gameplay. I'm going to have to run around this just a little bit. Peril level, we've done that. Attack of your supplies, investigation track, the devouring. Shoot, ambush encounters, site exploration. We've done this. So does he attack non-player characters? I think the Phonoi, I thought they automatically attack. No, sometimes they wander out of the room. That's right. Gosh, I'm trying to find this. Where is it? Where is it? Starting gear, Make. So we did that Phonoi effect. Wonder if I can find it. I'm going to say wander. I think that's what it says. Oh, there it is. That's the one I wanted. That's the one I wanted. Let's look for it again. I did find it. Okay, encounter reactions. When you enter a room, when initiative's determined, the next step is to see how they respond. So let's do that. Let's roll a d10. And it's a 9. So now this says the creature wanders out of the room, and I would normally say we do that. But if you read down here, it said if you used a loud weapon in an adjacent room, add a -1 to the roll. And candidly, because we had that alarm triggered and we had a +5 to get an encounter to enter this room, I'm just going to say this guy he's loaded for bear and he's ready to attack. So I'm going to say he attacks. So we will attack first. So let's go into combat attacking. So I have 10 stamina. So what I need to do is I need to roll a d20 plus my melee skill with my big, actually I don't need to, because that's right. If I'm cautious, I'm automatically hit and I get to roll damage. Now, damage is you roll a d3. So let's do that. And then we'll talk about, he's got wounds of 10. So let's roll a d6. 3. All right. So that's obviously a 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a 2. So I either get to do 2 wounds or I can make him dazed 2, broken plus dazed, or knocked down plus dazed. So I can only do one or the other of those. So what I need to find out, I want to look at this to see, I want to remind myself the definitions. I've got them in here. So let's look up dazed, broken, and knocked down. So dazed, they roll all of their checks with disadvantage for the daze's duration. This is okay. So that would be 2 rounds. So that would be really good. So dazed and knocked down, they can only move crawling, cannot spend any stamina. And if they are hit while knocked down, they receive a wound. Successful will recovery check removes the knockdown. Jeez. And what was the last one? Broken, I think. You're scared, defeated. On your turn, use your move and action to flee. All checks. Interesting. So all checks that do not include running and concealing earn a -5. When you're engaged in an enemy, you can't perform any checks to recover from being broken. So he uses his move and his action to flee. I want to try to kill this thing, man. I don't think I want to make him broken, but I do like the idea of making him dazed, because all their checks and rolls will be at disadvantage for the duration. So I would say that would be 2 rounds. So let's go back. Let's go back to this and say, do I want to give him the daze 2, or do I just give him 2 wounds? I think for now, I'm going to give him dazed 2. So I'm going to put inside out man. I'm going to put dazed 2. So we'll do 2 rounds of that. So, all right. So now then I believe I've used 5. So I think I can either evade I think that's right. You have 10 stamina per round. So to maintain my stealth is 5. So I think there's a couple things like I would have to do. Like I came in, I attacked, and I think I attacked as a 5, or no, a 3. 3 or an 8. It's not a powerful weapon, so taking cover, evade attack, use an item. So I think basically, I don't know if that's a quick weapon. So what are my options here? I'm going to go back to combat again. This will get better next time, but do want to look at the things I can do. Combat. Hacking. Take covers, 5 stamina. They'll cost 5 per round. This attack will usually be fast or normal. So a standard attack is 5 stamina. That's what I missed. Okay. So a standard attack is 5 stamina. So if I want to stay cautious and automatically hit, then I can't do anything. Like I just did a standard attack. So if I maintain my stealth, I'm screwed in terms of like he automatically hits. I have no armor. I have nothing on. So he will automatically hit me. So I think what I'll do for now is I am going to look at what my best defensive action is. And instead of evade, I think I'm going to take cover. Like we're in this room, I'm going to find something to sneak around, and I get to move 5 meters, and I'm going to like duck behind a chair or something. So I'm going to say, I've got cover, and I'm sure I can do that. So what else does that do? Well, but if I'm in cover, is that only... So he would have to move towards me and then attack. Maybe that's not, maybe my best option is just to evade. Spend 1 stamina, you make a dex check. All right, so I'm gonna hold 5. I've still got 5 stamina. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do this better. But 5 stamina, so I make a dex check against his attacks roll. And if my dex check exceeds the attack roll, it misses, and I move a meter. But if the attack still hits me, then he gets a +1 on his damage roll. So he makes an attack roll. So I make a dex check against his attack roll. Let's do that. All right, why not? So I'm gonna hold it for now. So what I'm gonna look at is I'm gonna look at the Phonoi table. And I did that. I did not modify his effect, so let's do that. Geez, so much to remember. But after I do a couple battles, I'll remember this. So let's see, I got an 8. So there's no modifier, great. So now Phonoi action table. So it's his turn. So he doesn't have any wounds. He has a condition, but he has no wounds. So what we're gonna do now is he's gonna roll a D10 and a standard. We'll see what he does here. So he rolls an 8, so he uses a special ability. So let's see what he has, shall we? We're gonna go back and find him and see what special ability he has. Special ability, if target is in melee range, which I am, the inside out man headbutts them, dazing them and inflicting bleeding 2. Holy crap. 1 second, guys. I'm going to be right back. All right, sorry about that. Dog is scratching at the door. Okay, so I'm bleeding 2. So, boy, there's a lot to keep track of here. So what I want to do is I want to go back to my character tracker. I'm going to give myself bleeding. And I'm going to say 2, and I need to go back and look at bleeding. So you start each round with 1 less stamina per bleeding condition. So I'm now going to have 8 stamina. Successful con check will staunch the bleeding, though a successful medical check is required after combat. Good God. So I guess on my turn, I assume I can just do a recovery check and it's not an action. I'm going to do that and then we can look it up next time. So, all right. So I got the, so in this case, I don't think the special attack or special ability, I don't think there's an ability for me to get around that. So I don't think I can dodge or do anything. So now well, it says dazing them and inflicting bleeding 1, but it doesn't say dazed with a number. So I don't know if I assume that's just dazed 1. And if I'm dazed, all of my checks are at -1. So I guess I'll say I'm dazed 1 for the moment. Got the bleeding, and I'm going to say dazed 1 so I don't forget. Holy moly, but that's it. So I guess I'm dazed, but I don't impact anything else, or nothing else is impacted. So, okay. So let's go back to this. I know combat's, I'm not running this great, but we'll get through it. All right, so he is still, I did inflict the dazed condition in him, but he didn't have a roll, so I don't think there was anything to do there. All right, so we go back to my turn. I am no longer cautious. I couldn't be, but now I am going to roll my melee attack against him, but I'm dazed, so that means go back again. Dazed. Yeah, so I'm rolling with disadvantage all their checks, so that's got to include a combat check. And didn't it say, oh, the bleeding 1 is the one I can possibly get rid of. Okay. So on my turn, I'm going to first roll a con check. So I've got a 10 con. So let's roll that. I don't know when you roll these, but I'm just going to roll at the beginning. So I got a 15 plus 10 is 25. So I got rid of the bleeding condition. So let's take that out at least. And I'm going to say 0, but I'm going to leave that checked because actually I'll leave it and say removed from combat. I apologize, guys. One more second. Okay. I got that out. I'm still dazed though. So, oh gosh, did my con, I don't know if I should have removed, I just did a straight bleeding. I just did a con check. I don't know if I should have done that with disadvantage. We're not going to worry about that, but I am dazed. So now I'm going to roll my melee attack against him at disadvantage. So let's do that. I'm going to click on my D20 and I'm going to say disadvantage and roll. Holy moly. Awesome. So I rolled a 15 with disadvantage. I dropped a 19. So 15 plus 8 is, 15 plus 8 is a 23. And now he rolls, shoot, what does he roll? Defense, combat, awareness. I'm going to go back to his token. Yeah, I think I should be going against his defense, but why did I think I needed a roll? Was that the... Now I'm confusing myself. What did I need a roll for? I did I would normally do an attack. Go back to our actions here. Special ability is what he did. So we're going to go back and we're going to look at the bookmarks. Go back to combat. I'm attacking. We're attacking, roll a d20. Yeah, and you're always going against his defense. So bleeding, conditions, dazed. Huh. I think I missed something, but again, I want to just keep moving this along. So I should have hit him. I think in this case, I feel like I was supposed to roll against something against him, but let's keep going. I hit him. So now I'm going to roll a D6, or really a D3, but for now it's going to be a D6. Two. So I don't think you can get less than one, basically, which is what that means. So now he is still dazed one, right? Because I dazed him. So he's still going to be dazed after this. And in my case, what I'll do, I got to start wounding him. So let's do a wound. And unfortunately, he's supposed to start with one more wound than he did. So I'm going to call it even. I'm going to call it 0 against his 10. We're just going to keep, we're going to keep going the way it is. So he is dazed. I hit him, but now he is going to get to attack. So let's go back to I'm going to go back to his, so let's see. Let me think about this. I got rid of the bleeding condition. So I still have 10. So I went ahead and I attacked. Standard attack is 5. So he is already dazed. So what do I want to do? What I don't know is if I can, it says if I want to maintain stealth. I guess I'm going to say, it says maintain stealth, 5 stamina per round. I'm just going to play it for now that I could be stealthy. So because I got rid of the bleeding condition, I'm going to go ahead and say that I can get back in stealthy and be cautious and kind of be prepared for him. So I'm going to use my other 5 points to do that. Whether or not that's right, I'll find out later. But we're going to play it that way. And we're going to go back to his table. And again, he does technically have 1 wound against a total of 11. So we're going to say that he does have 1 wound, but he's still on this section of the action table. So let's roll our D10. And he rolled an 8. So he uses a special ability again. Oh, that's painful. It's just brutal. Because I think I already got that open. So let's go back. There's probably a better way for me to be doing this, but that goes to it quick. So again, his special ability, if target is in melee range, you know what? I need to start dodging because I won't be in melee range. If I, not dodge, but I'm sorry, but use that defensive maneuver where I take cover. I've got to remember that because in that case, he'll have to move. And I think he would just move up to me. So I'll remember that next time. But in this case, he headbutts me again and I'm dazed and I'm bleeding 2. It doesn't say whether or not that stacks, but I gotta believe it does. So we're gonna say that my active condition is, now I removed the first one, so now I'm gonna say bleeding 2, and this one right now I've got bleeding 2, and I guess I'll say I'm dazed again. He just keeps headbutting the shit out of me, and I'm dazed. So at least the good news is he's not doing damage, but he's dazing me. So, all right, we're going to come back to my turn. I said I was cautious. So that means I automatically hit and I can roll for my damage. So let's roll for my damage. And that's a 5. So let's go back again and look at, and I know combat is brutal in this, and if I die, I die. I'm going to try to keep playing this. I guess I think I can take off if I want and try to get out of here, but we'll see. All right, so I got a 5. So a 5, 6, that's a 3. So he is dazed. I think this is the last round that he's dazed. So I think, given I'm gonna have him be dazed for like 2 turns, so one more. So I'm gonna go ahead and do 3. So I'm gonna do 3 wounds on him. 1, 2, 3, and then what I'm going to do, because that, let's see, I used last time, I used it to remain being cautious. So this time, if I was cautious, so I attacked. So now I think what I'm going to do, and I believe this is legitimate, is I am going to take cover. So this time, if he does that special ability, he's going to have to come to me. So I'm going to go duck out of the way, take cover. I'm not going to be cautious, but yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to look at one other thing before I make that call. And he is, so if he has 2, I don't know if I'm supposed to know this, if he has 2 wounds, yeah, you know what? I'm going to do that. So I ducked under cover. He's got now 3 wounds. And yeah, that's all good. And I'm trying to remember if I think I did all that right. Now I'm trying to remember if I rolled for disadvantage, but I think I did. Okay, so we are back to him. So he has 2+ wounds now. So let's roll on the D10. A 1. Ugh. Of course, standard attack. So I guess in this case, he moves up and attacks me with his standard attack. But let's go back to what that is. And his standard attack. So I took cover, and now I think this is where we'll do an opposed. So I did take cover. Guess I can go back out to defending. Defense is 10 plus dex, so I would dex. Let's see. So now my defense is 10 plus my dex, is that right? Let's go back to my combat. I just haven't had combat, so this is taking me a bit. So defending, compare the attack result to the defender's defense attribute. If the attack is equal to, okay, so taking cover. Moves up to 5 meters. Okay, I duck down. Defense is 10 plus my dex bonus. And my dex bonus is 10, as I understand it. So I've got a 20. But cover provides no bonus against melee attacks. No bonus. So it's literally no bonus. He runs up to me. So that was a waste in this case because I have 0. I mean, I tried to take cover, but he still can move on his turn and attack me, and that's what he's going to do. So he automatically hits, and he just rolls damage. And he's got a bite and claw +7. Well, there is no plus, so just going to roll a d6. 4. So now I can decide, this is how it works. The defender must make a choice. And I think I should have rolled and looked at the table, but I think I should have rolled, but in most cases, the Phonoi is supposed to decide if he takes a wound or if he takes a condition. So in this case, I get to decide as the defender. And again, he rolled, so it's either 2 wounds or 1 condition. Boy, I don't want to take a wound because whenever I take a wound, I start getting a -2 cumulative to every single check I have, I believe. So I'm going to take the daze 2. So let's go back and I'm going to look at my conditions. I feel like I'm not tracking the best, but I think I would have been off. I'm just going to put this back to 2 because I think I would have gotten off at this turn. So I'm going to have dazed 2, and it's still my turn. Now it's my turn, but I'm going to do that at disadvantage. Any checks. But let me go back to Phonoi, and what I was telling you is if you look at this table here, enemies at full health have a 5 in 10 chance of accepting a combat. It says combat maneuver, but basically it's either a condition or over damage. So I would just do a 50-50 coin flip. And enemies with a 2+ wounds have a 7 in 10 chance of accepting a condition over damage. So I'll roll a d10, and 1 through 7, he'll accept. If I hit him, he'll accept a condition instead of a damage. So sorry, I'm getting there. I'm learning, certainly. Okay. So now it's my turn. I'm dazed. And I think I need to go back and I don't want to flee yet. So I'm dazed, but I'm going to keep swinging this damn thing. And yeah, let's do it. I'm going to do a d20. It's at disadvantage. 12 with disadvantage. 12 plus 8 melee is a 20. So, and actually, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting. I only need to beat his defense. And I need to remember that. That's important. Because his defense is only an 8. So even at disadvantage, I'm good. So that's great. So I swung, I hit him. I'm going to roll a d6. Damn it. 2. So now again, I'm either, God, combat might take a little while in this. So either I'm going to give him 1 condition. So, but if I get to 4+ wounds, he's going to start getting ready to, you know what? I think it's worth it. I'm going to go, and even though I'm taking a little bit of a risk here, I'm going to get him to 4 wounds. So, and his bleed threshold is 10. I forget what that, I don't think I'm doing any bleed, so let's not worry about that for a second. And you know what? I know I'm forgetting something. Oh my goodness. Let's go back to my character sheet. And we are going to look at the weapon that I'm carrying, crowbar, stunned +2. So let's look at my conditions. It's all right. I'm going to be much more prepared next time. The character has been hit in the head or otherwise disoriented and perplexed. So I'm bashed the crap out of him on the head. And they can't take an action during their turn, but they can move half their normal rate. They can still defend themselves, but they can't take an action. Oh my God, that's huge. So so that's great. I bashed him. He's stunned. So stun +2. So I think I assume 2 means he's stunned for 2 rounds. So he's stunned. Let's do this. Active conditions. So the enemy, and I don't know how else to do this. I'm going to say it's stunned 2 right now. And I do have bleeding. I haven't rolled. Okay, too much going on here. So I do have bleeding 2, but I can still roll. I'm going to roll that con check. I don't think that's a disadvantage. Maybe I should be. It is a 15 plus 10 to con would be a 25. So I'm going to say I got rid of that again, and I'm going to have to look at this later. I'm going to say removed from combat, but I'm going to need a medicine check, I think, to get that entire -4 off. All right, but he's stunned, and it's his turn. But what do I want to do? I think I might save. So I got that bleeding off, so I have my full suite. Now, do I want to be cautious, or do I want to have the ability to evade? I think I'm going to use 5 points to be cautious again, because then I automatically, he's only got an 8. So you know what? Even with a 1, I'll have to, you know what? I take that back, because I've got a pretty high attack roll. He's only got a defensive 5 or an 8. Sorry. I'm going to hit him in most cases. So I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to hold my, I'm going to, you know what? I will be cautious because in this case, he cannot take an action. He's stunned, so I will be cautious. So let's look. Took me a while to go through all that, but let's go back. And he's got 4 wounds now, so let's roll a d10. 10. So he flees. So now when you flee, so he's dazed. He's got all these bones and crap, and he's got brain matter coming out of his head as I slammed him over the head with this wrench, which is awesome. And I need to look at that because I don't know if I can break that, but not worry about that for a moment. So I don't think actually I can break that one. So, all right, when he flees, so let's see if there's anything else that says like exactly what happens when you flee. Fleeting. I want to see if there's a flee. I think it literally just, unless I attack him, I think he just runs away, right? All right. So I'm going to say flee without looking at this. If I play it wrong, I play it wrong. But I'm pretty certain if it says anything else here. Fall back, grants +1 defense. I think a fleeing enemy will still grant Neme. That's great to know. Heck yeah. So I'm going to let him run out. I don't know where he goes, but I'm going to let him run. And like, he's holding his head. He's screaming. He looks like scary as shit. And I'm going to note in here. So let's pull this up. And I'm going to pull up the room. That's my first combat victory. I'm pretty excited about that. So I'm going to say encountered inside out man and defeated him. Making him flee. All right. So he fled, but whenever you defeat and I think it says this maybe on the character, I don't know if it's on the character sheet, but let's look at this again and see if I can look for my Neme. Neme. Attributes. Let's look for Neme. And I'm pretty sure you get, I think you get like 50 for defeating a Phonoi. Let's see. I'm looking. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 50, but it should tell me here. Gotta flip around too much. Or does it tell you on him? I think, is it specific? Ashen. Yeah, it doesn't say that it's specific. So I'm almost sure. God, I have to find it though, because I can't just, this will probably be how we wrap it too, but I might level up if I can do that. And then we'll kind of call it and I'll clean everything up before the next, I think I'll play it again. I'd love to hear from anybody who watched this either on YouTube or here if they'd watch maybe one more session, but I had fun. Yeah. I've got to find, where's earning Neme? I'm going to look, see if it's on my little sheet here. Combat 20, tracking time, encounters. It's driving me crazy that I can't find tracking time, gameplay sites. It's got to be in here. I got to be just missing it. All right. It's got to be like way up at the front, but let's check maybe one or two other places. But if I can't find it, then we are going to just assume I have enough to level up. All right, keep in mind, so that's that. Problems, okay. Spending 50 Neme, okay. Gerald Neme, sites, here in Neme, all right. Draw room contents. I don't want to see those because those are like, okay. Oh, there we go. Geez, I'm glad I looked at this. I was totally wrong. When you defeat Phonoi, you gain Neme equal to their wounds, the maximum number they start with. Okay. So he started with 11. So I was all excited that I got like 50, but I get 11. So I'm up to 61 Neme. All right. Not bad. So there are some things that maybe I can clean up now, just so I think about it. And I do think I missed something with the rooms that I will remember next time. So let me go back to my back. I cleared out this room, so I do 2 more here. I don't know if it tells me on the time tracking. Let's look at this. That's it. I knew it. After each three rooms explored, you just advance on the time track. So I advanced. I really should be. Yeah, it won't affect much, but let's do that so I don't forget. So I knew I was missing something. So I have gone through, I think, at least 5 rooms. So I would be restarting. I'd be on the next cycle, still on a Monday. And I do need to, and I don't want to cheat on this, I had 1 flashlight battery left, so I'm going to say I replace it. I still have a flashlight, but I just used the last battery. I don't know how I can get another one. I'll have to look at that. But I do have a full flashlight. Say my name. Say my name. That's right. That's right, Eraser. All right. So I think I do need to... I need to move up on the Nemesis track. Add 5 upon dying, upon failing a task. So no, only when you complete a site. So I think that is it for now. So I was hopeful. I'm going to get rid of this guy because I think I already have the doorway encounter inside out man, defeated him. He fled. So I think I just remove him from the map. And I've not searched this room. So maybe I'll do that next time. But I'll have to, one thing I can do, let's do this before I sign off since we've got a little bit of time. So I want to do a medicine check, and I'm going to say that I only need to do 1. Maybe I need to do 2, but I have bleeding 4. So I think the number stacks, but hopefully I only need to do 1 medicine check. So I have got a first aid of 7. And I've got medical supplies. So if I read the conditions right, bleeding. So I did the con checks, and I hope I did that right. Maybe I should have done those at disadvantage. But yeah, I probably should have. But through a successful medical aid skill check, so that's going to be first aid, I'm sure, is required after combat to move it completely. Otherwise, it will reopen itself. So you kind of healed it, but you kind of didn't. You got a little patched up, but it's like Rocky Balboa, right? Cut me, Mick. You put a little stuff on there. You're on room 11 or 12, so 4 turns, hours. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I did several. It's a good question. So I did, when I came into this, and I reset because I died, but I had 7. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I did it right. I'll have 1 more room. And then I'll have to advance 1 more on the time track. I think that's right. But let's do a first aid check and see if I can get rid of that. So it's with a +7. I'm not dazed anymore, I don't think. I'm out of combat. I got a 6. +7 is 13. So what I don't know is I think that means, like, let's see, it was a medicine check. What else did it say? Successful medical aid check is required after combat to remove it completely. So what I don't know is, okay, I tried it once. Medical aid skill check. I guess what I'll say is, as long as I have materials, I can keep trying it. But I used it, and maybe I used up the materials. And so I have to have like another medical aid. Let's say medical aid check, maybe. Okay, here we go. Once combat is over, a character may attempt to treat a wound by rolling a medical aid check and expending 1 medical supplies. This can be done only once per wound per cycle. Oh my God. On failure, the wound is still present and they're still in play. You may attempt to heal it again on the next cycle. On a critical failure, I didn't critically fail. Medical aid check moves the time check forward. Okay, so I need to go back and say, oh boy, ooh doggy. So I need to put on here, it's not an injury. I guess I'll keep track on this tracker here, my active conditions. And I'm gonna say, so this is gone. I don't need to worry about that anymore. Obviously, don't need to worry about the enemies. I'm going to say X, but I am going to say 4. And then fortunately, I'm going to say still in effect. So I think what that means is that I'll have to roll a check or I'll be down 6 stamina. Like it reopens in combat, but then I assume I can roll my normal con check and try to get rid of it. So I think that's right. So I think, trying to think if there's anything else, there might be a little more cleanup to do, but I think given we had a combat, we had a number of things, I think that's a good place to stop it. So I'm going to try to go 1.5, 2 hours each session. So if you liked it and watched it, give me a thumbs up on the video, and I'll probably do at least one more session. I'm starting to get into this and have fun. And I'm going to probably do one more session at least, and then maybe I'll mix it up with 2D6 Dungeon or Care Nathalis. So, Eraser, appreciate you, man, coming over, and everyone else that dropped by. Much appreciated. If you missed some of this, I am going to upload it to YouTube, and you can watch me plow through Under Ashen Skies. I had another great time. So, good night, everyone. Have a good evening, and I hope to see you when we play again next week. Thanks, everybody.